Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
This is episode number 242. Aaron, it's strange. It was a long time between us being on the show and then us being back in studio, and all of a sudden we're doing the second show in, was it 2 days? 2 days?
Yeah.
First of all, you're welcome. Okay, I know most of you guys enjoy this show. That's why you're here. And by the way, if you are going to be enjoying this show and you think your friends might, please kick us out to your friends and family. Get us out there. Get them in the chat. It's a lot more fun when more people are here. And speaking of the chat, I want to pull up something that's in there right now. Oh, God! Don't stop doing that. The first comment that we even have in our live chat here. Aaron, you want to read this whole thing off, actually?
Sure. Hey, fellas, just wanted to say that I love what you guys do for us fans. After moving out of San Jose and having a family, I got serious about watching the Sharks in 2020. Just my luck, right? I'm a huge fan of the good vibes and the relatable David Quinn cutaways. Haha. I know I will enjoy watching my first Sharks playoff games in due time, followed by your show right after. Go Sharks.
Santini Panini.
That's a great name, too.
First of all, yes, fantastic name. Second, again, thank you so much for the kind sentiments there. We certainly do the best we can with trying to be Sharks therapy sometimes, right?
Well, the
and
last
our fan
six
therapy
seasons, we have been.
Well, the poor guy joined us in 2020, he said.
Yeah, it was much better times during the playoff times. They were more exciting, I guess. We'll make it more exciting.
We'll make it more exciting, right, of course. No, but again, thank you so much for the kind sentiments. Do appreciate that. We do try hard. So for you to say those kind words, it's a great way to start the show. Aaron, let's take a look at the 4 games, because we already talked about the trades and stuff in the previous episode. If you haven't seen the previous episode, please make sure you check that out, because we do talk about the trades that went down. However, later on in the show, we will be kind of revisiting that topic, so there will be more trade talk as the night goes on. Short show, not going to be a short show. He wants it to be a short show. It's not going to happen. Stop it. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the 4 games from this week. I think briefly, because some of these were atrocious. Right. But we'll go through them. The first game here is against Toronto.
What sucks is the week started off well and then ended poorly. I wish it was the other way around, because our shows are a lot more lively when they end well and begin poorly. But yeah. All right. Toronto. Sharks going to Toronto. And at this point, I think they were on a 8-game losing skid.
They were losing big time, yeah.
I forget what the actual number was, but I think they had only gotten 1 or 2 overtime losses. The month of February, they didn't get 1 win. That's pretty bad. And granted, it was a short month in terms of both days, but Sharks games, because of the break, they didn't have that many. But going into this game, they're down, and they go down 2-0 right away.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, okay, this is not looking good in Toronto. It's a big game for some of these guys from Toronto. Good amount of Sharks players are from Toronto. In fact, they ran the stat during the game. The amount of players in the NHL from the Toronto area, I think it was 13% or something, if I remember off the top of my head correctly. I was like, wow, that's... If you're coming from Toronto, if you live in Toronto and you're playing hockey and you're good, you have a good chance that you're going to be making it to the big leagues. So that's kind of cool. So there's more... was it John Tavares with the Toronto Maple Leaf pajamas and choosing that team to play with them? There's going to be a lot more of those kids coming in. So anyway, speaking of kids from Toronto, friend of the show, we can say that, Jack Thompson scores, not his first goal, but it wasn't his first goal, right?
No.
Second goal, maybe. But he scores on a rebound here, and it was a good read by him. I liked how he was kind of anticipating it. It was a shot from the left side. It was a goalie save, and it bounced out. Actually, it might have been deflected.
Off the end boards.
Yeah. Oh, it was off the end boards. Sorry. Yeah. Bounced off the end boards and...
Could beat off walls.
Stolars? I think Stolars.
Yeah, Stolars.
Stolars is kind of... He missed the puck, and it went behind him off the boards. It came right around, so he was out of position. And Jack Thompson read it like a book and stepped into it and just crushed it. And just... You could tell he kind of took a little bit off of it, because he didn't need to put a lot of power onto it, just to make it more accurate and make sure he didn't miss. And he scored in front of a bunch of hometown friends and family that were there. And it was his first ever game in the NHL in Toronto. So it's his first time going back to Toronto, back to his home city. So what better way to do it than to score a goal, right?
Yeah. Well, welcome to Toronto. Welcome back. Here's the puck for you. Really good stuff there. So yeah, like, it's not the first time we're gonna say for this game that Stolarz was caught out of position a little bit. This one here, again, once it bounced off the end boards, he's kind of looking around trying to figure out where it is, and all of a sudden it's in the back of the net, and just realizes it far too late. The other goal here, Wenberg going behind the net to Toffoli. Again, Stolarz.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this one, guys, but if you haven't, watch the highlight, watch the replay on this one, because again, he's kind of like tracking Toffoli as if he's going to try, or sorry, Wenberg as if he's going to be taking a shot, and he never does. And he kind of backs into his post, and I don't know what happens. It was comical. The way he fell, like it's almost as if like his legs just shot straight out, and he just went straight down the post.
It's like he forgot he was on ice.
Yeah, he just whooped down. And of course, Wenberg comes around behind the net, finds Toffoli. Toffoli buries it. Just a great way to get back in the game.
Blown coverage by Toronto because I think there were almost 4 Toronto guys around Toffoli, and he's wide open in the crease without the goalie there, and he taps it in for an easy goal. So yeah, easy goal for Toffoli. He'll take those all day. Good on him for getting in position and be ready for it. But I think Wenberg, he's got some sneaky speed for me. Like I didn't think he was this fast of a skater. And there's a lot of games recently that I go, wow, he's faster than I thought, and he's also very good at protecting the puck and possessing and getting into the zone. Similar to Eklund, a little bit different than Eklund. Eklund, I don't think is as quick or as top speed, but he's quicker.
Yeah.
Eklund's a little bit different. Like he's a quicker player, but not as top speed. Wenberg's kind of the opposite, but he does kind of what Eklund does, right? Goes behind the net and throws it out front and finds it, makes chaos happen.
Yeah.
So I've been impressed with Wenberg's game. I think he's been a wonderful addition for the Sharks. Definitely stepping in for the missing Couture. That was kind of the reason he was brought in the first place. And he just got rewarded, I don't know if you saw this, with the A after the trade deadline. Because Cunnin and Sturm both had letters. So
and before him, Granlund. There's a lot of leadership core that had gone, right? So for him to be the next guy in line, absolutely, he's providing that veteran presence. And especially for some of the guys, I think now, after the trade deadline, some of their buddies are gone. I think he's going to be one of those guys, the veteran guys, for them to lean on just a little bit. Obviously, Will and Mac, they have that special friendship. But a guy like Eklund, right? Unfortunately, the other Lunds are now gone. So I think Eklund's going to have to lean on somebody. I think Wenberg's one of those guys going to end up doing that for him as well. And of course, Toffoli. I mean, anybody on this team really. But Wenberg does provide that veteran leadership, that veteran presence. That's not necessarily missing, but certainly there have been a lot of them that have vacated the Sharks in recent times here.
Nick W. Toronto game was great, but it feels like a year ago after all the trades. I agree. Let's move on to the next game.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, the end of this game, they win in a shootout, 3-2, and it was Toffoli and Zetterlund, single tier.
Is it really a win?
It is. It's a shootout win.
It's a skills competition.
They won. The skills competition.
They had better skills than the Toronto Maple
Leafs. Absolutely, and I'll hang my hat on that one. I'm happy with that. Are you kidding me?
Whatever.
Fantastic. Anyway, Sharks, Buffalo Sabres, 6-2 win. What? 6-2. Where'd that come from?
The dam had to break at some point, right? After going on an 8-game losing streak, going to Toronto and getting a glorified tie in Toronto, a come-from-behind tie. I'm not going to call it a win. And they're feeling good, right? They're feeling good about themselves. They go into Buffalo, and Buffalo is a team that just... we go? Okay. Buffalo's a team that, speaking of disastrous rebuilds, I hope the Sharks are not this kind of rebuild. And I don't think they are. I'm still confident that they are not like this.
Yeah.
But Buffalo just in a constant rebuild and just can't do anything right, it seems like. I mean, I think part of the lure of living in Buffalo versus living in other cities might be a part of they can't get some big name free agents in there, but I feel bad for them. Like I love back in the late 90s and early 2000s, those Buffalo teams were good.
Yeah.
They were with Hasek on the team too for a while. Like they were always dominant and always up there. They were kind of like the Sharks were for that 15 years of almost never missing playoffs, and now they're on a huge drought. And right now the Sharks are on 6 years going on it. So, I mean, they're still not even halfway to what Buffalo's doing. But I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, disastrous for Buffalo. In Buffalo, losing to the Sharks. That's kind of sad for them. That makes them feel not good about themselves, like they were already feeling bad about themselves to begin with.
I think it's sad for anybody that loses to the Sharks, to be honest with you, right? But yeah, the Sharks did look like the better team throughout the game.
And it wasn't just a loss. This was a blowout.
Shellacking, I believe is the term that they would use. Yeah, they got thoroughly beat This is what I would like to refer to as a pants down spanking, but that's what we
I don't want to hear about freaking fragile, okay?
Anyway, one of these goals, Lil Jagrin's goal, the first goal, almost didn't count.
Yep.
Thankfully, the Situation Room in Toronto, they said, well, if they're going to beat us, then we ought to make sure that they beat Buffalo too. So Situation Room calls up and says, no, that was a good goal. I guess it just kind of went and trickled across and then got pulled out.
It was
but they
spinning.
did see it. Yeah, but they did see it.
Spun, and you could just see enough where you could see where the goal line is. The puck has to go completely 100% over the line, so you need to see white, and you could see it briefly. And the players knew it. They saw it, and we're calling it. And the refs, I don't think the ref was in a great position to see it. I think his angle was off, because he was kind of looking at it straight on from the back, so you couldn't tell if it crossed the line the other way. And no disrespect to the ref, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because that's what the whole Situation Room is for.
It's for, yeah.
Anyway.
That's the process working.
Right.
So I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Yeah. So what happens here is the goal counts when it crossed the line, that's when it should stop time.
Yes.
So they kept playing for a little bit. Then there was finally a face-off, and then that's when you hear the goal horn. Or not goal horn, but like the horn at the
stoppage in play. If they did a face-off, then it's too late to go back. So they stoppage in play. Right. They review it. They pull the timer back to when the goal actually occurred and restart play.
It's kind of a fun little trivia thing.
Yeah.
So now, for fun here,
okay.
If Buffalo had scored a goal after that, it wouldn't count.
It would not count.
It's kind of cool.
I know.
I think it's happened a few times.
I believe it's happened before. I don't know the situation. I'm sure Nick knows what the situation there would be, but no, I know it's happened before. I'm pretty sure, and it's just interesting that this is one of those times where the Sharks score a goal, they don't see that it's a goal. Situation Room calls, we get it, get on the board, get the train rolling, fantastic. And then after this one, again, the end of an era. Nico Sturm scores his final goal as a San Jose Shark. Single tier. I was sad to see him go. It made sense for him to go. We knew he was going to be one of those guys because he's desirable, because he's the captain of my heart.
How many people hit us up on social media asking how you were doing?
And you know, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for checking in on me. The more you know, fantastic. Yes, I appreciate you guys checking on me, even if it was done sarcastically. But yes, I was okay. I was preparing myself for it the entire time. I was hoping he would stay because, again, the leadership qualities. But, again, it makes sense, and I'm glad that the Sharks were able to get something in return.
Pulling up quickly to see what he did because he played in Buffalo back-to-back.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. But it was in Florida.
Okay.
So it wasn't in Buffalo. But he played Buffalo again with the Panthers.
I gotcha.
I was curious what his ice time was going to be, and it's roughly the same. 11 minutes, 23 seconds. 18 shifts, which is just about the exact same, and he had 3 shots. But that's about it.
Yeah.
So, good on him. At least it's not getting 7 minutes. It's about the same with what he's getting on Sharks. That's good.
So, this game here, we've got... What else is this? This is the fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how... I'm going to try to... How do we jump into this the right way? Okay, so Celebrini, Toffoli, and Smith all score goals here. Okay, I'm going to say how first, and then we'll jump into the rest, I think. Celebrini's goal, he was on a change. He just jumped straight off the bench, hopped on the ice, receives the puck, scores a goal. Mm-hmm. I mean, talk about being efficient with your time on the ice, right?
Well, the other team didn't get a chance to defend him because he was coming in hot.
Absolutely.
Right yeah.
Again, hops on the ice, spends about 3 seconds, and scores a goal. That's, again, efficiency. I would like to see Lane Hudson do similar. I don't think he could.
Everyone on the ice is probably like, thank you for the +1.
Yeah, right. Totally. Let's see. Smith, again, left to shoot by himself.
That was a good goal.
It was a great goal.
He's impressing me with his shot.
This is what I keep saying. You cannot give this guy the time and the space. You have to crowd him. I don't care that it's a 3-on-1. You have to leave the other 2 wide open and hope that you get into the passing lane, because if you don't and you just allow this kid to shoot, it's probably going to end up in the back of your net. When he has that much time and space, he's deadly. You have to take that time and space away, even if it means that it's a 3-on-1 and you're just playing the puck, which normally you would never do. But against him, that's what you need to do. Otherwise, back of your net. And that's exactly what happens here.
How many times have we seen a 3-on-1 with the Sharks?
Overpass.
Pass, or they shoot and miss the net.
Yes.
And there's not even a shot on goal. this was a snipe, and he hit the corner, and it could have missed easily.
Yeah.
Where he could have just missed the net, completely bounced off the boards, and it couldn't come back the other way.
He's too accurate, I think. His shot is too
I
accurate.
agree.
That's not the problem.
The Sharks
right?
have been lacking a player that shoots like this.
Yes.
Like, they always overthink it and always want to pass and always they want the tic-tac-toe easy tap-in goal, which is doable, but the percentages aren't there, right? Like, 3-on-1, you should be getting at least a shot on goal.
3-on-1, you
Minimum.
should be getting a shot on goal, but a 3-on-1, there should be at least one pass.
And there wasn't.
All
here.
the time, there should be at least one pass.
So you get the goalie to move.
There was not a pass. He just straight up beat.
like-
That's what I keep saying.
Is this
You
the second
cannot
one?
give him the time and the space
Because
to
last
shoot.
week it was a 2-on-1, I think, and he did the same thing.
Yeah.
It was a 2-on-1, he didn't pass, and he sniped it.
He
scored.
looked off the pass. Now
Yeah.
that one makes more sense. 2-on-1,
Yeah.
defender's got the guy
Yeah,
covered.
yeah.
Nothing else. On a 3-on-1, defender can really, as long as they're in the right positions and doing their job correctly, the defender can really only take one of those passes away. Preferably the backdoor pass, which essentially leaves the trailer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you would skate in tight to the goalie, he would cover that post, and then you pass it back towards the middle of the trailer. Goalie has to move again, go from being sunk into his net to having to pop back out. There's a lot of angles that are going on there. That guy's got a really good opportunity to score. In this case, again, 3-on-1, didn't even bother with a pass and just ripped it and blew it by him. Again, not the play that you would want to make, but you can't let this kid shoot the puck. You cannot give him the space to shoot the puck.
Well, they can.
He's gonna bury it on you 9 times out of 10. You can't do it.
Keep doing it.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Please, if you're the other team, please keep doing it. I'm just saying, if you're scouting this guy,
Right.
crowd him, make him uncomfortable. Even a 3-on-1, crowd him and make him uncomfortable because it's a higher percentage play than just letting him shoot the puck, frankly, is what it is. Anyway, so Smith, yes, absolute bullet, snipe, fantastic job. Now, Toffoli happens to score on an empty net goal, but we don't care about that. There's a story behind this. Aaron, you want to go ahead and tell this one?
Sure.
Fire away.
On the bus from Toronto to Buffalo, Will Smith, apparently on the bus, was like, hey, it'd be funny if I feel like we're all going to score. And if we all score, we're going to do a sleepover. And Toffoli was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's funny. He's talking to Toffoli, Celebrini.
Yes.
Will Smith is talking to Toffoli and Celebrini. So I don't think Toffoli really thought this out. They all score. And if you watch after the goal, they're going crazy on the bench for an empty net goal for a 6-2 win.
Yeah.
You're not really celebrating that much, right?
Right.
They're going nuts. And Will Smith is yelling, sleepover, sleepover. And Toffoli comes over, gives him a big hug, and Celebrini's like pumping and they're excited.
Yeah.
And then on the game, after the game, I think Warsofsky, when they're getting on the plane, he was like, you know you're going to have to do that sleepover, right? He's like, yeah.
I like Warsofsky holding them to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic.
Everyone's holding to it. But, so Tyler Toffoli, these texts to his wife, Tyler and his wife are texting back and forth. Here's the text to his wife. It's him at the top. He says, I got to have a sleepover with Will and Mac tonight, LOL. She says, what? He said, Will sitting on the bus last night. If the three of us score, I have to have a sleepover with them. And she asked, where? And he said, in their hotel room. They're in the same room? So then this is followed up with the picture of the three of them. Tyler Toffoli on the rollaway bed. And Will Smith saying a bet is a bet. Max said, slept like a baby. Tyler's wife said, I literally thought you were joking. And then Fabian Zetterlund with the laughing emojis.
Oh my God!
Zetterlund.
Can we really quick go back to Kat Toffoli? I don't know. I'm not sure if it's Catherine. Can I just point out? And I thought this was adorable. If you guys look at the very top, it says tie tie. That is so cute with a heart and the Canadian flag and everything, but tie tie.
Is there another tie with an American flag?
I don't Tyler Kennedy, but I don't know, maybe, but no, he's the Canadian too.
No, I
isn't
meant
he?
in her phone.
Oh no, yeah, I hope not. Jeez. Anyway, yeah, I thought that was adorable. I want to point that out. But yes, this whole thing with the sleepover. Now, Aaron, you had brought this point up, and I'm gonna say it right now, and you can talk on it a little bit if you want. But I don't think that Connor Bedard is getting any sleepovers.
It's just sad Bedard by himself in his room. Brooding.
You mean the regular Bedard? Not everybody's having sleepovers, though, right?
Extremely disappointing.
It's normal.
Downright embarrassing.
So, yeah, again, going back to the camaraderie that's being built on this team.
Yeah.
100%, you can see a big difference. Now, again, we're not privy to the hotel habits of other teams and their teammates and whatnot, but I imagine stuff like this is maybe a little bit unique at least. And other guys are doing fun stuff too, yes, and they don't tell us all about it, of course. But this is just one of those things that shows, the team kind of coming together. And it's not just about Will and Macklin. I mean, Toffoli's in this mix too, and they're having a laugh. They're having a great time, right?
They later said that Will and Mac look at Tyler as an older brother. Someone's like, oh, he's like the dad. They don't look at him like a dad. He's not that much older than them. They said he's like an older brother because he has lots of stories. He won a Stanley Cup, so he's got a lot of stories from that and all the other stuff. So they really look up to him, and he kind of takes care of him like a big brother. So it's really cool to see. It's really fun to see. They're obviously having a good time in a awful, disastrous season where they brush it off, right? And this is, we talked about this the last probably 3 seasons. The one word, what is it?
I don't know.
God, I'm blanking on it too. I can help you. Thank you.
You put him back where he belongs. What's your favorite phrase, Aaron?
Could beat off walls.
Oh boy.
Oh, not that. Market correction.
Market correction? Is that the word you were thinking of?
No,
it's 2 words.
I'm having a brain for a moment.
Wow. Oh my God. Yeah, on that.
Oh, I can't lie. It was, a lot last.
The culture. The culture.
Okay.
Everyone's worried about the losing culture of this team.
Yes,
right?
yes,
and then it's going to end up poorly, and they're not going to be able to play well together.
Right.
And it's going to be just bad, bad, bad. This culture has changed.
Yeah.
In the last, even I'd say 1 season. Last season was bad. Not the culture, because we're not part of the culture. We don't really know what's in the locker room. But we weren't seeing people laughing at all in March. Yeah. Right? Towards the end, after the trade, I guess this is right before the trade deadline. There was no laughing. There was a lot of sweating, a lot of, okay, where am I going to be ending up next? Which team am I going to? The Sharks were getting destroyed in those games, which they did in the Colorado game. But still, it's a very different vibe. Very different than it was in just a year. Yeah. And you look at 3 years ago, how bad it was. It was bad. So things are very different. Again, looking at Chicago's rebuild, and Sad Bedard. I'm just going to keep using Sad Bedard because it's funny. And you can think about Sad Bedard, but he has nobody around him like Celebrini has Will Smith. Or vice versa. Those two growing together and being very young. And you have Eklund, too, who's not even that much older than them. They're going through this all together and all the growing pains. So they're having a good time. They realize, we're playing in the NHL. This is fantastic. We're going to have the youth, the energy of the youth is there. Mm-hmm. And it's contagious. It goes into the locker room. It goes into the rest of the players. Tyler Toffoli, would he be doing that with anybody else? Probably not.
Yeah.
Right? I can't see him and Eklund doing this. I can't see him and doing it with any other players like Mario Ferraro, right? I just don't see that. So.
I feel like Ferraro is probably the next candidate in line for something like that, though, knowing how Mario is. But I do like how Warsofsky was part of the fun, too, telling him, you got to do the sleepover with the boys, right? Again, I think you're right. The culture has absolutely changed. Not to say that Coach David Quinn wasn't setting the right culture or anything, but I think having a guy like Macklin and they're having Will Smith with Macklin and them having a good time, again, that youthful energy that you're talking about, I think it has kind of, helped this team kind of turn a corner in terms of not being so down after every single loss, knowing that the future is bright. Hey, we're still going through our development stages right now. Mm-hmm. Guys got shipped out and guys are down about that, but they can see in the future about how things are going to be changing. The guys that they've got coming up, it's going to be a good experience, and so they're getting that culture rolling right now, and I think it's perfect timing because if you can get the culture set now, you bring the new guys in to be a part of that as well. It's already set. They just have to go along with the good vibes. And then I think the skill is going to take over. Everyone's going to be happy. Everyone's going to be winning at this point, and that's going to be the perfect combination, I think, of the two. Having a good culture and losing doesn't really help sell tickets, right? And being really good, but having a bad culture, it's just asking for it to all crumble down. So I think it's, again, good timing, the way everything's starting to come together for this group here. What wasn't very good was the next game that we're going to be talking about, and that was the game against the Colorado Avalanche, a 7-3 loss. Now, Aaron, you had warned the previous episode that we did, that this is going to be an ugly one because of the trade deadline. Who knows who's going to be left on this team, whether or not they're going to be there. The elevation, the fact that it's Colorado, right? There's a whole lot of factors adding up to this being a beatdown. And a 7-3 loss, I think, qualifies.
Absolutely. I mean, just all of those combining together. You lose. Was it Luke Cunnin was held out of the lineup, but he wasn't traded until the next day, but he still couldn't play. Sturm was traded in the morning, so you lose 2 forwards. Wallman got traded, which I think was a shock to a lot of people. So he didn't play in that game. So that's 3 guys out of your lineup. The Sharks don't have the depth to sustain injuries, or I guess in this case trades, right? Taking those players out of the lineup. Granted, they're not. Wallman's their best defenseman all year. He's been the best defenseman for the Sharks. Take him out. We saw what happened earlier when he was injured this season, and it just looked ugly. So that was a big piece. But then you take out Sturm, your 4th line center, and you take out Cunnin, your 3rd line center / winger, do it all guy. That's brutal. And then you're filling it in with some younger guys, some rookies. I think Mook Madulin got in the lineup. So it was a recipe for disaster. And barely saying goodbye to some of your friends. Yeah. And having to play in a high altitude. Like, it's very difficult. So I had a feeling this was going to be a blowout, and it absolutely was.
Yeah, Makar and McKinnon both get, I think combined, what was
6 points each, right?
It was 6 points, and then Makar actually got 7. So I think combined they got like 13 points or whatever it was. Yeah. Some goofy amount. Or it was 6 and 5, I think. It was either 6 and 5 or 7 and 6. It doesn't matter. They had a ridiculous amount of points on the night. They took full advantage of the Sharks missing out on probably the best defensive forward in Nico Sturm. That is the whole reason. Stop laughing. What are you laughing about? Don't laugh. Anyway, but there was some good that came out of this game.
Yes.
William Eklund.
Yes.
Gets his 100th point in this game. Now, he got a goal and an assist. Yes. So he was at 98.
98.
Okay. Has Wenberg was at 99, I thought, wasn't he?
He was at 99
goals. That's what it was, 99 goals.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's gotten to his 100th goal yet.
He keeps getting assists.
Yes.
So he's getting points, but he's not getting assists.
Totally fine.
He's not getting goals.
But in this game, again, William Eklund getting up to 100 points. And so we looked at some of William Eklund's stats here to take a look at how many points per game or whatever. I think he had 100 points in 157 games was what it was. So looking at that, if you take, where was it here? Prior to this season starting, he's at like a 0.52 points per game. Okay, this season alone, he's at 0.8.
Yeah.
So a stark difference. You could see the progression there, right? So there he is.
There's the graphic.
100 points from William Eklund. Nice job. So seeing that he's kind of ramped up his play since he's joined the league, you can see again the progression, how much he's developed, and just how comfortable he is. We talk about other players being comfortable, and sometimes I think we're just using that as a placeholder. But with William Eklund, you can see how comfortable he is with his puck control. The guy, when he's got the puck on his stick, he wants it on his stick, not so that he can find something else to do with it, but so that he can skate with it and take it to the house. Right, he's the guy that wants to go out there and make a play, whether that means skate it himself, or move it to someone, or take that shot, or pull it inside, do a little spin move to the guy. He is so confident with the puck. That's what I mean when I say a player is confident, right?
Yeah, he protects the puck very well.
Absolutely,
it's very hard to get the puck off of his stick, and he makes things happen. He's dangerous every time he's on the ice. He's a joy to watch. I've been very happy and. I don't want to say I'm surprised. He was a 7th overall pick, so he was kind of a high-end draft pick and a good year. But I'm pleasantly surprised with how his development has been, even on losing teams, right? Like, he's still putting in the work and doing all this. And that's why I feel like the debate of Smith going down or not, getting that kind of out of the way. Because if you look at Eklund's like first year, he played 9 games, and they sent him back to Sweden. Then he played another 9, I think. And then they sent him back, and then he kind of split that time with the AHL, and he came over and played with the Barracuda a little bit. Smith but that first full season that he had was last year. Eklund, right? Was last season. That's kind of where Will Smith is. They kind of jump-started him into that, mainly because he couldn't. I guess he could have gone to the Barracuda, but Sweden I think would have been a better thing for Eklund versus the Barracuda right away. It's different timelines, different trajectories for these guys, but I think getting that first season out of the way for Will Smith, I think next year is going to pay dividends. I don't think he's going to be. You see a lot of sophomore slump kind of stuff for those guys, like Bedard this year, right, where they're not taking the next step. I don't think Smith is going to hit that next year.
I'm not sure how we got on the topic of Will Smith, but
just about how Eklund's grown his game. I think Smith is going to be doing the same thing, just like the trajectory. I've been very happy with Eklund and how his game has been going.
Yeah. We'll rehash it again, I guess, but I think you're kind of making my point for me. Will Smith jumped straight into the NHL, and Eklund went and played in other lesser leagues first to hone in his craft.
I think Smith had better players around him than Eklund did his first time around. 3 seasons ago, Eklund did not really have anybody around him nearly like Will Smith does now. They had really one scoring line when Eklund first came in. I feel like they had 2 scoring lines when Will Smith came in. 2 legit NHL scoring lines. Whereas 4 years ago, when Eklund first showed up on the scene, they didn't have enough players to protect him really, like surround him with. He was the best player on the team.
Okay.
One of the best, more skilled players.
I'm just not sure where you're going with it. That's all. I don't know.
Will Smith had better players around him to jump in the league right away, versus Eklund did not.
Okay.
Which is why they sent him back also to slide his contract twice.
Okay.
Because he's still on his ELC, which is crazy.
See, and I'm looking more at purely at like the developmental potential, right? So, and you're saying he won't have a sophomore slump. If you're talking about points, I 100% agree with you. I don't think Will Smith is going to have a problem gathering points. That's again, never been my issue with Will Smith. I know a lot of people think that's what I'm talking about. And every time he scores a goal or gets an assist, oh, see, Paul, he's awesome. That's not what I'm talking about. 100%, he's going to get his points. But what I'm talking about is like the confidence stuff. See, we say, oh, he looks so confident out there. I do not see that. I don't see that out of his game. I love that he shoots the puck when it's clear that he should be shooting the puck. Like on the 3-on-1 and the defender's taking everything else away, I'd still like to see a pass. But there's an open shot, I'm taking it. Why? Because he's got that good of a shot and it's probably going in. 100%. When he's got that time and space to make that play, he's fine, right? I think playing in the AHL for at least part of the season, I think you agreed last time, in the beginning of the season, it probably would have helped him out a little bit.
I think so.
I think the things that I'm seeing where I don't see confidence out of him, how often do you see him try to skate the puck like a William Eklund would? Right? How often do you see him trying to drive the puck towards the net on his own? I just don't see that out of him. And to me, that is a lack of confidence in his ability to carry the puck and protect the puck. Maybe that's not part of his game. I get that. But at the NHL level, that's really something that you want to develop, especially when you're only 19. Who knows what kind of game you're going to be playing in 10 years when you're, at your prime, right? Your game can develop in many different ways. Just because you're not taking the puck to the net now doesn't mean that you can't. So I think that it would have been better for him to get into the AHL instead, be kind of like the man there. You said that he might get 100 points. Personally, I don't think he'd get 100 points. I understand that there's like an equivalent in terms of NHL points to AHL and what they would be getting, but I don't think that he's that guy, and this is the reason why. Because unless he's wide open and kind of on his own and by himself, then sure, he'll rip that puck or he'll find that pass. But as soon as he gets crowded, I don't know. I just don't see him doing the things that are going to make a guy successful in the NHL. And I think he'd have a better time of learning that skill had he developed it prior with the Barracuda. Now, again, we've said this 1,000 times, or I said this 1,000 times. No one seems to care. Everybody seems to go, Paul, you just hate the guy, which is not at all true. But I will agree with this. He's going to get his points, and he's going to keep getting his points. I'm just worried about the rest of the game. Now, maybe he goes and has a 20-year NHL career and all he does is gather points and everyone's happy with it. Fantastic. But for me, that's the part of the game that, again, can use the development. It's never going to be if he can score points or not.
All right.
More you know. I don't know why we brought up Will Smith, but yeah, okay, there you go. Once again, agree with Paul. Thank you, Brykar. Member Brykar agrees with me. Just saying. The fact that he's got member next to his name means something. So, thanks, Brykar. Appreciate you, buddy.
All right. We got a long one. Let's go.
I wasn't planning on saying any of that. Anyway, Okay, so yeah, William Eklund is who we were talking about.
Right.
Again,
8 games now.
The development that we've seen so far from him, fantastic. For a guy that should have got picked earlier, got him 7th overall. Super happy with. Again, no idea how this guy fell to us. Happy to have him. And again, just the way that his trajectory, the way that he is developing, the way that he's building that confidence. He's not even building it anymore. The kid's overconfident. You know what I mean? Give me the puck. I'll take it to the house myself. That's what I love about this guy, and what I'm going to love about his brother, because his brother plays the same way, and I cannot wait. We're getting him, Aaron. We're getting him, baby.
You know what's crazy? This was the last draft before Greer took over.
Yes.
This was the last draft that Doug Wilson Jr. was making the picks. William Eklund fell into his lap at 7th overall. You couldn't mess that up.
Absolutely.
You couldn't mess that up, right?
Absolutely.
All the other players from that draft that the Sharks drafted, one player, Ethan Cardwell, has played 6 NHL games.
We don't talk about the rest of them, okay? We don't talk about the rest of them. Leave it alone.
Just whatever. Just throwing that out there. It was a bad
It will be very interesting, because I know the numbers are going to be way better, but it'll be very interesting to see how many guys from Greer's drafts make the show.
And right now, there's only 2.
It's going to be a fair amount, though.
Yeah, because nobody from his first year, 2022, has played an NHL game yet.
Okay.
23 was only Will Smith, and 24 is only Celebrini.
Well, only Will Smith, because Quentin Musty was deemed to not have a good defensive game.
Well,
which, again, if we're developing guys in the NHL, I would love to see Quentin Musty get a little bit of development time. You know what I'm saying?
His hand, so he took some time off.
Is he playing right now? Call him up, baby.
We'll get to that.
Let's go
in a little bit.
Let's go.
All right.
Get on with it.
Get on with it.
Get on with it.
Get on with it.
Yes. Get on with it.
I get to be a part of it now, because you can hear my voice over the stuff.
Get on with it.
Okay, moving on.
Islanders
4-2 loss. Who cares? Sharks were out shooting the Islanders.
They started well.
They started well. They started really well. It's 17-1 on shots.
Yeah.
Bonkers, right? And then
it's
the
usually
Islanders,
the other way around.
I know. Usually we've got the one. They're pummeling us for 17, and it usually doesn't go this way. The Islanders score on their second shot, so of course we're destroying them with possession. We're destroying them with the amount of shots that we're generating and offensive chances, and then they score a goal. This is just the way the season is going. It's
whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on from that, they do. Sorry, that was a power play goal by ex-Shark Anthony Duclair.
Yes.
So that was the second shot
I thought that was
of
kind
the
of
game.
a weak goal in terms of Georgiev. I couldn't tell if it got tipped or not, but it looked like he had a clean shot, a wrist shot from distance from the circle, and he should have been able to get there and saved it. But
can't save them all, as he's proven many times over. So this game here, they double shift Celebrini on the power play. He gets a power play goal here. So actually, he doesn't get it, but he gets a power play point from Celebrini up to the point Mook Madulin rigs one. Everybody thought Clean the Dream Kostin tipped this one in, but it was actually Kovalenko. Yeah, Kovalenko gets a stick on this one. Happy for him. Happy to see him getting one here.
We haven't heard from him in a while.
Yeah.
I think he got hurt for a little bit, so he was out of the lineup.
Yes.
But when he first came in, I was really liking his game because he was, north-south kind of guy and would hit hard. And he was a guy that he'd go into the corner and he would always come out with the puck.
Yeah.
So he was really good at puck battles against the boards. So glad to see him get rewarded with the goal here.
Absolutely. Celebrini also, I believe, finished the game with 10 shots on goal. Not 100. He did? Okay.
Yeah.
10 shots
That's
on
crazy.
goal. I mean, that's goofy, right? That's a lot of shots.
That's an 18-year-old getting 10 shots on goal in the NHL. That's bananas.
Yeah.
That should not happen. 18-year-old.
No, it should. It should happen repeatedly.
No, I'm just saying, that's just blows my mind how young he is and the stuff that he's doing.
And it's like his offensive game is fantastic, but he's not one-dimensional. He does it all.
Yes.
Right? And this is, again, one of the reasons why he's keeping him off of the penalty kill, is he had to double shift him on the power play because we need a goal. Get him back out there.
And it worked.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on from games, because, again, Sharks went 2-2, sort of, because of the shootout win. You want to call it?
A tie. A glorified tie.
So negative all the time. Why? Come on. It's a win. Shootout win. They did something. Anyway, at this point, we're going to move on from all the games, like I said, and talk a little bit more about the trades and whatnot, because, again, it was a very emotional thing for a lot of people, a lot of the players. We did have stop doing that. We did have an entire show. By the way, for people on the podcast, if ever I do that freak out sound, it's because he he keeps putting the image of Vinny Darnay on the screen, and he is a very scary human being. Not unlike our good friend of the show, Nick HBK 150, I think it is. Anyway, Nick, who's usually in the chat here, he actually said that does look a lot like me, just with the mustache.
He did correct you, by the way, on the goal.
Oh, what?
On someone scoring a goal. There was a game in the late 2000s against the Kings. LA scored, but play resumed. Sharks go down and score. The play still goes on. The Kings go down and score themselves. Then they reviewed everything, and the first Kings goal was good. So there's actually 3 goals in that scenario, and they called it all back. I remember there was something weird that happened. Thank you. Thank you for correcting that. Yeah, we're going to do roll call right now. So tell us what city you're watching from, and did you like what Greer did at the trade deadline? Now, again, we did do this whole show on Friday about all the trades, so more in-depth detail there. What we didn't have at the time was quotes. Mike Greer's quotes from his press conference, because it happened. I think we did our show at 4:30. I think he did his thing at 3.
Yeah.
So we had just missed it. I didn't get a chance to review it before we went on our show. So there's a lot of stuff here that I wanted to go over from Mike Greer's own words. And then what I said in the last show is a lot of stuff that Mike Greer says, you got to listen to what he says and kind of what he doesn't say. And then you can kind of piece together his thinking in a way. That's at least how I'm taking a lot of this stuff. So I'm focusing here on the 2 trades that were kind of shockers. Wallman and Zetterlund. Yeah. Now, he did say that he was not looking to trade those guys. They kind of came at him, and the return was too good. So they obviously went with it, and it came down. And apparently the Zetterlund trade, did you hear about this, got into the office at the deadline.
26 seconds. Before
the deadline. Like, they had filed the paperwork 26 seconds before the deadline was over. So it went down to the wire here. Yeah. All right, so first, this is about Zetterlund. Okay, what he said. What our pipeline also has is wingers who can score and have size. We feel good about what we have coming in on the wings. Some of that is Graf up here now. Yeah. Good friend of the show, Colin Graf. We feel good at what's coming up and able to replace that production and adding a young center on top of it, as in adding... trading Zetterlund to get the center prospect, Stopchuk. We just felt that roster construction-wise and where we're heading in the future, it was just a good fit. So what I had said during this last show 2 days ago was Zetterlund was kind of a numbers game, a depth chart casualty, if you will. Yeah. In a couple seasons, we have so many higher-end people like Musty that's coming in on the wing. Zetterlund is probably going to be pushed down to third-line winger. Now, yeah, that's good. But is that a disservice to both Zetterlund, his usefulness, like you're kind of wasting it at that point?
It's good from a fan perspective, seeing that you've got a guy like Zetterlund, that much depth, you've got Zetterlund on your third line. That's fantastic. I love seeing that. Problem is, you're going to pay him what he's worth for however long long a contract that he'd be willing to sign for, which is probably going to be a decent length contract at a fairly decent amount. I would love to see, and I said this last show, what his next contract looks like, and that'll give you a good window into whether or not it was a smart move not signing it. Mm-hmm. If he signs a 2-year contract for $4 million or whatever it is, okay, then I'm kind of going, we probably should not have moved on. But if he signs like a 6-year, 5-year, whatever it is for any decent amount of money, yeah, it probably makes more sense to move on.
He did stress, Mike Greer did stress that it was nothing to do with the contract talks.
So
it just happened.
And I think we've said before on the show, though, that sometimes they say things like that, and that's not at all the case. It's just what they're saying, right? But I believe him. I believe that that's just, the contract wasn't part of it. I'm just saying... take a look at what that next contract looks like and if it would have made sense whether or not he stays. Now, if we take a look, I kind of did some futures here for what our top 6 might end up looking like. And that top 6 being Celebrini, Smith, Eklund, Toffoli, because he is signed for 4 years, right? And then you've got Musty coming in and Chernyshov.
Let's say there was a comment in here. It says, between Chernyshov and Musty, that's your power forwards of the near future.
Absolutely. And so those 2 guys are probably going to be playing one on the first line, one on the second line to give you that, spread that out. Or if you put them both on the same line, that would be nasty too. But regardless, that's your 6 players that are probably going to be the guys going forward over the next 3 years or whatever it is after the season is done. right? So if that's the case, yeah, you could have Zetterlund, but one of those guys is going to end up playing third line minutes instead. I think what they were saying was they're comfortable with who they've got coming up, that they're going to be able to play that position and take on that role, right? So I don't know that Zetterlund was part of the plan necessarily moving forward anyway. And I think that's what Mike was just trying to get across is I look at what we've got in the wings here, and specifically on the wing, not just waiting in the wings, but specifically on the wing. I think he's happy with the guys that they've got coming up, and I think he's pretty confident that they're going to be able to step in and do the job that Zetterlund could, right?
Yes, and that was the big takeaway here was he is really trying to build out the centers.
Yes.
So Zetterlund, because he's a winger, was a little bit more expendable and also replaceable. Not just with the prospects coming up, but I think as a free agent, you could find a winger easier than you could find a big centerman that's going to be able to do big minutes or whatever. So a Stopchuk apparently is going to be a third-line center.
Yes.
That's the future. Now, what that tells me is they don't like what's going on with Bjugstad.
Well,
and he might be a fourth-line center more than a third-line center.
And that's where I had this question I wanted to pose to you and to you guys, actually. So please, if you can, obviously you're doing the roll call here, but what does this mean for Bjugstad then? If he was supposed to, I mean, I'd be pretty upset if I was Bjugstad. I was, a guy that could have played as a first-line center or second-line center for the Barracuda at least, and you put me on the third line doing third-line roles, learning third-line things, so that you could put me in the NHL as the third-line center. What does that mean for him necessarily then? And do you think that he's unhappy now for whatever reason? That's my question to you.
Sorry, I was reading.
For Bjugstad, what does it mean for Bjugstad?
I think they don't like he's not mean enough. He's not nasty enough. And it sounds like this kid that's coming in, Stopchuk.
Stopchuk.
Has some grit to him. A lot more grit and a lot more nastiness to him, which I think is what Greer wants to add. And he kind of mentioned that a little bit. On a Stopchuk, he said, he's not a Will Smith or Quentin Musty. And also Quentin Musty had a 5-point night tonight again. Like I said, we feel pretty good about the skill and talent and scoring that we have, but we don't have that profile of someone who's 6'3", really good skater, good details, hard, physical. We don't have that. To me, I think they thought they had that in Bjugstad, and they don't.
Yeah, again, you read kind of between the lines with what Greer's saying there, and if he's saying all these things, then Bjugstad is, again, bigger guy. He maybe thinks he skates well, right? Mm-hmm. He's doing all the things you're asking him to do, but he's saying we don't have that. I don't know. To me, if I'm Bjugstad, it's a bit of a slap in the face, isn't it? I've done everything you've asked me to do down here.
Doesn't matter. You got to produce.
100%.
At this level, you got to produce.
I get it.
And Greer said this from the beginning. You got to produce, and he's going to have competition. Competition breeds better players.
Yeah.
So you have a guy who's Bjugstad that's looking to be that third line center in NHL. Nothing's given to you. You got to earn it. He's not earning it right now. They're going to go out and get someone who does. So I don't feel like, you've put in your time and whatever and you earned it. Absolutely not. That's not how it works at this level. So I don't agree with that.
Giles and the other center were both kind of projected to be possible 4Cs. So if Bjugstad is not going to be playing in the NHL as a third-line center, he might not even be playing in the NHL as a fourth-line center. I don't know how much. I don't know how much longer he has on his contract with Barracuda or with Sharks, whoever. But if they didn't want him, I kind of maybe thought you'd see a trade with Bjugstad. Maybe it won't happen this season. Maybe it happens later on if he's still got time on his contract.
So one thing that Greer did say, and I don't think I put the quote in here, is... I did put it in here. Okay. I'm going to read this whole thing because this kind of explains that as well.
Oh, okay.
The hope is that this is the last deadline where we're shipping everyone out. It's time to start building. We expect those guys to keep getting better internally for sure, but it's also time to start building, and that's where we start to use that capital from the first-round picks that we've acquired over the last month or so and try and go out and acquire some good players using those and maybe even some of the prospects where it's time for us to start doing that. Dip into free agency and see what's out there. Start surrounding these guys. He's saying we already have a glut of prospects and picks.
Yeah.
We can use those as capital to get already established NHL stars and bring those in here. So he's ready to make some big moves. This summer is going to be big.
Yeah.
Not just with free agencies. I think we're going to see a decent amount of movement of him going after some things. Bowen Byram is a guy that was thrown out there as a right-handed shot defenseman. They thought he was going to be moved out of Buffalo, and he would have been a good fit for the Sharks. Maybe something like that, or maybe even bigger than that. Someone who's maybe more of an established star, maybe has a bigger contract, and they kind of want to get him out of there. Who knows? I'm just speculating now. But he also said they said, do you want to add? Don't you think you need to add more defensemen? Because right now you seem like forwards. And he said, on the prospects and what they want to add, we're kind of lean more forward heavy. We feel like we're in a good spot with our forward group, prospect-wise, in the AHL and the NHL. I would agree that our back end does need some work. So their focus right now, they got their goalie in Askarov. They got the forwards, Musty, Celebrini, Smith, Eklund. That top six is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Even that third line is now starting to solidify itself with a Stopchuk and some other players up and coming, right? Halton is another one that could be on that third line. So the forwards look pretty decent. Now they're going to go out and start going after defensemen and really starting to get that blue line built up with blue chip prospects other than Dickinson, maybe in one or two more, and maybe an established star, puck mover, or something like that. So I think we're going to see some, not just free agent signings. We're going to see some of that first round draft picks, second round draft picks that he's accumulated and get those moved, maybe paired with a prospect off to a team to get one of their star players off of their hands.
Anybody in particular that comes to mind? Because we talked about Bowen Byram earlier, and a lot of things have been thrown around about, I don't know if it's Nemec or Nemec, but Simon, whatever, from New Jersey Devils. Apparently he wasn't happy. Apparently we misread that. But regardless, those are a couple of names that got thrown out. Is there anybody in particular? Because I know you do a lot of the fantasy stuff, fantasy league and everything else, so I'm sure there are some names.
Well, let's circle back to what we talked about.
Okay.
Who owes us a favor?
New York Rangers. Gimme.
I don't have any names. I don't have anything. I'm just speculating here. Greer's done some, helpful stuff for certain teams.
Sure.
So I think some things could come to roost here from that.
Is there a name on that roster specifically that you're kind of looking at?
I haven't looked specifically.
Okay.
I mean, if you want me to look
Just checking.
right now, but
No, I'm just...
the Rangers.
Yeah, he said it. Malachi said it.
What did he say?
Keandre Miller.
Yeah, but I don't even think that's a big one. I don't think that's...
I'm
thinking
one.
He's a good defenseman. I'm thinking more of like a bigger name, right-handed shot. I mean, not Adam Fox. That's obviously, I don't think the Rangers will get rid of him unless the Rangers are going to blow up the team for some reason. But I don't think that's going to happen. But there's going to be some movement. There's going to be a lot of things moving around this summer. And don't forget, the Sharks have so much salary cap that they have to bring in some big contracts.
Yeah.
So just to get to the floor. Now he did say he's not going to step on the gas completely and go crazy. Look what happened in Nashville. Nashville did that this last summer, signed a bunch of free agents, did not go well.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do that. So, and he also doesn't want to get stuck with big term either for a lot of these guys. So he's going to be aggressive, but not overly aggressive. But I do think we're going to see, it's going to be a very different roster next season.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see when he hands out that first long-term contract. Not so much big in terms of money, but the long-term one. And I imagine he's going to give a long-term contract to the youngest guys, right? Like the Celebrinis and the Smiths and the other guys when they get older and they're past their ELCs, right? Chernyshov and those types. I think those guys are going to get the longer-term ones. But I'd be interested in seeing in free agency or a guy maybe that they made a trade for, he played a season, and then they re-up his contract to see if any of those guys get the longer-term deals or if it's just the young homegrown talent first. I like a guy in his dogs here, says Marner.
I like Ekblad. Someone just said Ekblad.
Yeah.
I think Ekblad could use, I don't know if a change of scenery is right. His usage has changed.
Yeah.
He's not as offensive as he was in the beginning of his career, but I'm just looking at him real quick. He's going to be a free agent, so I would love to see them sign Ekblad. I think that would be huge.
I think Vlasic has 2 more years on his contract.
He has 1 more season after this.
Oh, after this he has 1 season?
Yes.
Oh, I thought he had 2 seasons after this. Only 1?
I'm pretty sure next year is the last. Let me pull it back up. I just had it up.
Okay. Well, and then Couture is 1 more year after that.
Couture's got 2 more seasons.
Okay, good.
Vlasic has next year and he's done.
Okay.
And he'll be... When's his birthday? Does it tell us on here? I don't know if he's 37 currently. I don't know if he's turning 38 over the summer. When's his birthday?
That doesn't matter.
March. So he's about to turn 38. So he'll be 39 at the end of his contract. So yeah, he's not gonna resign, but he'll be done. And there's no sense in buying him out either, because for one, they need the salary, and they could just scratch him. He could be the 7th defenseman. Vlasic is not a bad 7th defenseman. If someone gets hurt and you need to bring in a 7th guy, I would love to bring Marc-Edouard Vlasic, a guy who has experience, knows he can still skate. He's fine. That is totally fine. I'm okay with that. So yeah, one last year. He now leads the league in block shots, and not just. I'm not talking this season. I'm talking he leads the NHL history in block shots because they just started tracking that stat in 2004, 2005. But he is the NHL stat leader in block shots, which is amazing.
Yeah,
part of his longevity, but and as being a defenseman. But yeah, anyway.
I mean, he was scratched for a while there. He was hurt for a while there. So still, I think it's still quite the accomplishment. Again, for the amount of times or the amount of seasons he's played in the NHL. Yeah, well deserved getting the block shots record there. So good on him for that. Hope he's got another year of blocking shots in him. Push that record just a little bit higher. I don't think Gretzky's on that one.
CJ said on a different note, we saw the Sharks have a sleepover. What about the Fin Factor sleepover in the studio? If Gregor hits 10 goals, we have a sleepover at Paul's house. Come on, either one works.
Wait, who's we? Who's we? CJ.
I don't know. First of all, this studio looks huge. It looks amazing, right? It's great. And again, props to both my dad and super producer Jason getting this all set up and ready. But it is a very small room. The cameras are literally up against the wall. There is 2 inches of space behind them.
It looks like from here, I'm looking at our monitor here. It looks like there's a solid 10 feet or so between us and the camera. It's 4.
Yes. Yes. We can
very good job,
the camera
SPJ. Well done.
So
buddy.
it just you can see his hand. You can see his hand. Jason is literally, the closet doors are off and his equipment is in the closet.
That's how close he is
in the room.
Yeah.
So yes, it's very tight. It's very small.
You can literally high five him right now.
Yes, it looks just like that.
Just like that. Yeah.
That's what every show looks like from behind the scenes. Maybe we'll take a picture looking around.
Actually,
what we
he
see,
was just talking about having a GoPro for a spy cam type of thing. Where every once in a while go black and white.
That'd be
cool. That'd be kind of cool.
Maybe we could do that for members. A member view only.
There you go.
I don't know if we
so
can do
if
that.
you're not a member and that's something you... Oh, God, stop doing that. If they're not a member, please consider doing that. And then maybe that'll be one of the perks that we add.
We could play NHL 25 all night.
Yeah, we could.
We could play in the studio on the TV.
Yeah, actually.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
Maybe we broadcast it.
Yeah. It is?
It is set up for that, so we could do that. That'd be fun.
What are we waiting for?
We need to buy NHL 25.
Yeah, I think we should do bingo. Let's do bingo. Anyway. Okay, so what else do we want to talk about?
Top of the hour. Calder watch. Let's go.
More drama. Come
Let's
on.
go. All right, Calder Watch 2025.
That's a pretty low drama.
It's a very tight race. Very tight. Right now, in first place, we have Defense Boy out of Montreal, still at the top. Lane Hutson. 63 games played. He's got 4 goals. That's cute. 45 assists for 49 points and a -16. Still 0 face-off wins. I can't believe this kid.
Trash.
Just awful.
Absolute
I don't know how
trash.
he's at the top. All right. Followed, Lane Hutson, followed by number 2, our boy, Sleepover.
Macklin Sleepover Celebrini.
Brady. 53 games played. He's got 20 goals, which is amazing. 28 assists and 48 points for a -26. Ouch, that one kind of hurts. But let's see what his face-off percentage is. If I can, I can't get to it. But he's at a .91
Points per game.
Hudson is .78.
I'm telling you, we are ranking this incorrectly. It's
should go
not
points
points.
per game?
It should be points per game. Not just because that puts Macklin on the top.
I don't care. I'm still confident Celebrini will be on top.
Not
by the end of the
because
season.
it puts Macklin on the top of our list, but because it puts Macklin on the top of our list. There you go.
All right. In third place, Matvey Michkov out of Philadelphia. He is 63 games played. He also has 20 goals, so he's tied with Mac the Attack. 27 assists, 47 points, minus 12. What's with these minus guys? I guess because they're on bad teams.
Yeah.
They are just going to be
Yeah.
bad plus minus.
Of course,
It
yeah.
makes sense. Not on this list, however, moved into 4th.
Yeah.
Will Smith. Golf clap.
Yeah.
Clap for Will Smith. That's for the Sharks have 2 rookies in the top 4.
Fantastic.
Scoring and rookies. That's amazing in
fantastic.
the NHL. He has 12 goals, 20 assists for 32 points in 57 games. He's at a .56 points per game, which for I would say for a rookie. Would you say Eklund was?
Eklund is 0.8.
No, before.
Oh, beforehand
Yeah.
was 0.52.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we have another.
He had less
William
people to play
Eklund.
with, is what you
Right.
said. But, yeah.
But we have another William Eklund on our hands where
Yeah.
his trajectory is going to be up and it's going to be good. He's going to be a good player. I'm not
Of
worried
course.
about him. I'm very happy. His second half has been great. He's been looking really good, especially since the break. Anyway, there's our Calder watch. Who are you still thinking Celebrini on top at the end?
I'm not even. I'm positive Celebrini on top. There's no reason it's not Celebrini at this point. I understand Lane Hudson's doing amazing things as a
Right.
defenseman. Lane Hudson has 4 goals and a whole slew of assists. Again, assists are fantastic, but essentially you're handing the puck to somebody else to go do the work, and that's okay.
Also, how many secondary assists are those? It doesn't break that down. I
I
should look
sure,
into that.
Sure, yeah, we could break that down.
Yeah.
But I think, again, the other book that I've heard on Lane Hudson is that, yes, he's doing wonderful things as a defenseman offensively, but as a defenseman defensively, he's not super reliable.
He's tiny too.
So, again, I'm cool with the tiny dudes, 5'7" right here. Hey, if you're a small guy and you're playing a professional sport, more power to you, other than horse jockeying, because that's kind of how it's supposed to be. But I'm just saying...
You're a giant for a horse jockey.
I would be massive. Yeah, I'm a big dude for a horse jockey. Get this giant out of here. Anyway, nosebleeds. Yeah, exactly. But I think for what his role is, he's a defenseman. First and foremost, you should be good defensively, and if you're doing a great job chipping in points and doing the thing, fantastic. He's not even leading in terms of points per game, even with just a slew of assists. Here, guys, go get me points, right? Even doing that, he's not quite at the top of the ladder there when it comes to points per game. And if defensively he's not quite one of the better defenders, then you're not quite in the conversation as far as I'm concerned. And I think we're all looking at the amount of points he has and going, oh my God, right? But it's... Again, if he had 20 goals or something, I'd be like, wow, that's a fantastic offensive defenseman.
He's on a big market team in Montreal.
Yes.
I think that also propels him.
Of course.
I do think the last road trip that the Sharks had, any road trip, right? Macklin Celebrini has played just about every single arena now in the NHL. Maybe not all of them yet, but he's getting close. Especially the East Coast ones, right? They're all getting a good look at him in person, and they're going, whoa, this kid is definitely something special. That's what I feel like. The takeaway is, sure, the Sharks most likely lost those games, but that's the one thing people talk about is Macklin Celebrini, man, that kid is good. Yeah. So it's helpful, and I'm so glad the NHL went back to doing this where they play each team twice.
Yes.
At minimum, right?
Yes.
Whereas before they were kind of doing that rotation where they're doing more divisional games and you're playing less outside. I think it was stupid because I hated it because as a season ticket holder, Crosby and Ovechkin were only coming every 3 years. I was like, this is awful. This is stupid. Or every 2 years. I will mention, and there was, I think Peter St. John said, Dustin Wolf is definitely in the running. 22 wins, 12 losses, 4 ties, and 915 save percentage, 252 goals against average, 3 shutouts. That's impressive what this kid is doing. And big shout out to him because Gilroy native. I think it's so cool.
It's really cool, yeah.
It's amazing that somebody out of Gilroy is at such a high level in hockey, in ice hockey.
100%.
If anyone's been to Gilroy, if you're not from around here, Gilroy is just south of San Jose by half hour.
Sure.
20, 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Let's say 30.
Yeah.
Is the Gilroy is the garlic capital of the world. That's their claim to fame. So I live in San Jose, in South San Jose. We both do.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you do, but we could smell it some mornings. You could smell the garlic when the winds change and come back up north. In the mornings, it's real crisp, and it's not cooked garlic. It's raw garlic in the ground, or it's when they pull it, or I don't know what it is. It's just you smell it. You're like, whoa, fresh garlic in the morning. It really wakes you up. It's crazy. Anyway, that's where he's from. I think it's really cool. It's a cool story.
If you're ever coming to Gilroy for whatever reason, you got young kids, Gilroy Gardens, they have the two mascots, Gil and Roy, and it's a fun time for all the kids and the families. There you go. It's my free promotion, Gilroy Gardens.
There you go.
I want
Future sponsor.
I want my money.
Future
Gilroy
sponsor
Gardens.
of the show.
Okay.
I'll take free season tickets. Anyway.
I don't even know what we're talking about. What's next?
We're into
here?
the Calder Watch.
Okay, Calder Watch.
All right.
The people want to know. Okay, can I see what's his name? Will Smith and the stats on the for the rookies real quick, because I want to make one more point here. I was talking about, I was kind of pooping. Stop it. I was kind of pooping on Lane Hudson here, and if we take a look at what Matvei Michkov is doing, again, 20 goals, 27 assists. Now, Matvei Michkov, correct me if I'm wrong, known as the strong offensive presence, goal scorer, kind of not as much on anything else, but if you give him the puck, he's probably going to do fantastic things, right? Mm-hmm. That's what he's known for. Again, Macklin Celebrini outpointing Matvei Michkov, same amount of goals, right, as Matvei Michkov, but he's the type of guy that you can put on the PK. He hasn't because of time constraints in terms of managing time on ice, but he's the guy that you can put there. He's good defensively. He does everything. He wins faceoffs. Whatever you ask this kid to do, he can do it. He can do it, and at a high level. So for me, if the goal scorer is not outscoring you and the defender is not being as good defensively as you, then I don't know. What's the conversation about? So yes, for me, it is absolutely 100% Macklin Celebrini, and it's not because I'm a homer. It's because he is the best rookie. It's a two-headed race now.
The last game for Michkov.
Yeah.
Doghouse.
There you go.
Well, not quite doghouse, but 13 minutes, 50 seconds.
Compared to the 17-20, yes.
Yeah. So his last 5 games, 17 minutes, 20 minutes, 16 minutes, 17 minutes, 13 minutes.
Yeah.
So it definitely dropped, and that was a loss to New Jersey.
I'm going to finish what I was saying. It's a
Sorry,
two-headed race. It's Macklin Celebrini and it's Dustin Wolf. In my opinion, it's a two-headed race. It's those two guys.
Interesting.
Because the other two guys, again, if you're a defenseman, but you're not good defensively, and you're a goal scorer,
That's more of a Norris Trophy debate. It's not the best defenseman. They always give it to the highest scoring.
But I'm saying, if you're the best rookie, you can't just look at points. You have to look
Right.
at what does this person do? What
agree.
are their responsibilities? Did they do a good job as a rookie of those responsibilities? If you're a defenseman and you're not that great defensively, and the vast majority, 90% of your points are coming from handing the puck to somebody who does the work for you, right? Then maybe you're not that great at your job after all. If you look at Matvei and you're a goal scorer and you have as many goals as the guy who's well-rounded and does everything, then you're not outscoring him. Mm-hmm. So what are we even talking about, right? The only thing Macklin can't do, tend the goal. So there's Dustin Wolf doing a fantastic job of his job.
I don't think we'd be having this debate if Macklin didn't miss those 12 games in the season.
We would not be.
He would be so far ahead, I think.
He would be beyond. And again, that's why I'm saying, guys, look at the points per game instead of the points. Let's look at the points per game if that's how we're going to rank it. And even then, let's look at plus minus probably isn't the best stat, right? So let's look at whatever we would look at for Lane Hudson to see if he's doing his duties as a young defenseman. Yes, he's a rookie in the league, and yes, it's not the Norris, but that's his job. Is he doing his job?
Who did Will Smith pass?
Gautier!
You're welcome, CJ.
For the people.
He's been asking several times.
I've been stringing him along. I saw it on the screen.
I don't know if you saw it or not.
Guys, if you watch the replay, when it comes up on the screen, I'm looking right at it and I'm just smiling. Yes.
He said, I saw you smile.
There you go. Oh, did he? Yeah.
I don't know if you're smiling.
Now, the other one, apart from Cutter there, is Vinny Desharnais. That's the other one that I like to say. It's fun to say that one, too. I'm going to get the French baguette. I'm going to get the French baguette on the show. And I'll be, every time I got to say one of those names, I'm going to hold that one up. I'll see if I can get a fake mustache. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
The people can't wait, Aaron. Doesn't matter about you.
Guys.
Okay.
We'll
get on with it. Here we go. Okay. What else is next? Fun stats. You got some fun stats. How can we have fun stats in a losing season, Aaron?
It was sarcastic.
Oh.
We last week, I think I talked about the Sharks playing with the lead more than they did the year before.
Yes.
Or it seemed like it, right? I was wrong.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Well, you know what? I take it back. I was wrong in terms of I was looking at all of last season versus this season up until now.
Okay.
So I was kind of it's not quite apples to apples. It's
Okay.
close. But in terms of positioning where they are in the league. So I was curious of how many minutes have the Sharks played with an empty net. Is it the most in the league? Is it not the most? They're 4th in the league.
Wow.
They're behind Seattle, Buffalo, and Colorado.
I would not have guessed Colorado there.
I guess they have a lot of close games where they're pulling their goalie, but they have the firepower to get there. And
I wonder how much of that was before Blackwood, though.
Right.
When they were having a harder time at the beginning of the season.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why Georgiev and their goaltending
Completely
got blown up.
Yeah.
Altonen and Georgiev both got traded, and they brought in Wedgwood, right?
yeah.
And Blackwood.
Just a bunch of wood in it.
Right.
Was the joke. Yeah,
Right.
But
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Last year, they were only better by Chicago by 5 minutes and 28 seconds less empty net time. But they were behind Anaheim, the next place, by 46 minutes.
Wow.
In 20 seconds. Sorry, that was with a lead. With a lead, I messed that up.
Here we go.
Sharks are,
I cannot lie. It was,
Here we go again.
month and
right now, currently this year, the Sharks are in dead last playing with the lead. In terms of ice time, I didn't do the amount of times because it's not apples to apples to last year. Last year, they were only better than Chicago by 5 minutes. They only had the lead longer than Chicago did by 5 minutes, 28 seconds. But the next place team was 46 minutes, almost 3 periods, 2.5 periods left, or 2.5 periods less of a lead.
Yes.
Right? Within a goal, though, this is where it gets interesting. Last year, they got killed a lot. This year, they are the 3rd most in the league, time on ice, within a goal of the game. So they're up there. Every game is close. Almost every game is close.
Yeah.
Last year, they were 21st. So that's a huge jump. So when we talk about, yes, they're playing better than last year, it's more entertaining.
Yeah.
Got beat off walls.
The games are closer than they were last year. They keep losing. The record is almost the same, but it is a lot closer game, and they're giving up a lot more empty net goals. This is also interesting. Leading the NHL with losses after the second period. Going to the third period with the lead, they are 7-4.
Okay.
4 is in they have 7 losses and 4 overtime shootout losses.
Okay.
So they have lost 11 games total when they had the lead in the second period. That's a lot. That's think about it, 22 points off the board in the standings.
Yeah.
So going into the lead in the going into the third period with the lead in the second, they are 10-7-4. The only team in the league under 500 at 476. The next worst team is 600 something.
Oh, jeez.
So they're really bad.
Yeah.
Now I noticed the PK has been atrocious in the last couple weeks.
Okay.
I don't know if you noticed every game they've given up at least 1 or 2. It's been bad. Things have changed, whatever. Their PK currently is 27th in the league overall for the season at 74%.
Just absolutely freaking embarrassing.
Since the Four Nations break, 65.5%, and they're 29th. Since March 1st, dead last, 52.6. They're almost giving up a goal for every 2 power plays. It's bad. The power play, though, is 21st at 20%. Overall,
Yeah.
since Four Nations break, they're 4th, 34.8%.
Wow.
Since March 1st, they're 5th at 41.2%. Their power play is clicking. They're getting it done.
Wow.
So now you add those 2 up, it's not as bad as it looks. Obviously, you want your PK to be better. That's going to help you win more games. Once we fix that, I think they're going to be good. So offense is looking better than last year.
Sure.
They're closer in games than they were last year.
Yeah.
Even though the record is almost identical to last year's disastrous season, the goal differential's
I was going to say,
different.
that's where you're going to see the difference is the
Yes.
goal differential, really.
And you take away the empty net goals, it's even better.
Yeah.
I think it's even more empty net goals this year because last year they were so blown out.
It didn't matter.
They weren't pulling their goalie. Yeah. So, yes, the Sharks are getting better. Slowly getting better. The numbers are there. All right. Upcoming games. Anything else you want to add to that?
No, we're good. That was fantastic.
Thank
well
you.
done. I love that. Yes, upcoming games. We
Upcoming
have
games.
3 of them.
3 games this week.
Now you mentioned Nashville earlier in the show, talking about how they did. They spent a ton of money. They got a bunch of big names in, and then they did a whole bunch of nothing with it. So Nashville, the game on Tuesday. This is at home, correct? So
yes, all 3 games are at
these
home.
are all at home. Okay,
Yes.
good. Nice little homestand going on this week. So against Nashville, I'm guessing you think that this is one of the wins that we're going to get
One of the questions in the fantasy league was, will the Sharks get to 20 wins? They're at 17 right now.
Of course.
So, yes, I think they can get 3 more wins in the... Well, how many games were left? 17 games?
I think it's 17 left, yeah.
I'm confident they will get to 20 games. 20 wins. 20 games.
There's 17 games left. I'm confident they'll get to 20, though. Somehow.
Blah, 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 blah. It's that time of night.
It sure is.
I think they could possibly get 2 wins here.
Yes.
Nashville, and then they're playing Chicago on Thursday.
Okay.
At home, again, here. So I think there's a good chance that Bedard shows up.
Now, I was going to say, the first time we played Chicago, Bedard was not in the lineup, or Celebrini was not in the lineup. He was injured, I think, is what it was. They didn't face each other.
The very first time.
Yeah.
Is this the third time we played him, or just the second time?
I can't remember now. But regardless, so it'll be nice to see these two going head-to-head. Again, generational talent against the guy who's not quite the generational talent, whatever. I'm 100% confident that Celebrini is going to put on a show, at least.
Yeah.
And Bedard's not taking over. So I'd love to see them go head-to-head. I hope that they do match those lines so the two young guys are going head-to-head. I hope the first face-off is the two of them, and Celebrini just wins it straight back. That's what I'm looking for.
That'd be a nice TV moment.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice highlight for the NHL.
100%.
Reel.
Yeah. So definitely looking forward to the Chicago game. Now, you think this is going to be another win then? So you think we're going to keep we're the win streak here? We're going to make a win streak, I'm saying. Yeah. So Nashville and then continuing the win streak against Chicago.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Then they're playing on Saturday at 2 p.m.
Okay.
Against Washington. Ovechkin's be nice to watch what he's doing this week.
Yeah.
Because there's a chance that he could come into San Jose and break the record. Slim chance, because he's only... I forgot how many goals he is. Probably not, though. I think it's 9. Maybe less.
Okay.
But still, very cool to watch that history. And he's close to breaking the record quicker than Gretzky set it.
Yeah.
Less games than Gretzky did.
Yeah.
Which is amazing to me.
Yeah.
So that could be part of history. Always good to see Ovechkin. I love... When I had season tickets, I really did not want to miss that Washington game because I wanted to see Ovechkin in person.
Yeah.
I mean, that was in his prime, too. He was very young, so it was exciting to watch. And not that I want him to score, but I wanted to, if he was going to score, I wanted to be there and watch it.
Yeah.
And I was always like, okay, I want the Sharks to win 4-3 with a hat trick for Ovechkin so I could see him score goals, but also the Sharks win.
Yeah.
I'm a generous person. I don't want to see shutouts.
Very nice. Any comments from the live chat there that you wanted to pull out? Because I know we've been talking a lot.
CJ said, you guys got to make a road trip to Anaheim, LA. It'd be really fun to meet you all and have a few laughs and talk hockey. Maybe next season we might do a road trip down.
Here's the funny thing, CJ.
You're there all the time.
I'm actually there, used to be there often.
Yeah.
Like, often.
Anaheim, right? Not LA, Anaheim.
Irvine, Corona, and not Huntington Beach. There's another one there. They have a lot of inline. And that's why I was going to LA often. We've been to Legoland quite a few times and Disney quite a few times. And yes, it's all because of the trips down to LA for the boys playing hockey. So I think we've got actually some tournaments that are going to be coming up soon. I'll probably be down there. I don't know if we'll do a meet or anything like that.
During
I'm
the
not
season?
Sure if there's,
Next...
I don't know if they're going to be during the hockey season or not, the pro season or not. I'll have to check the dates. But
would it be during the rookie tournament that's usually down there?
The
Sharks rookie tournament?
Do not know.
September?
Oh, no, not that.
August?
No, for sure. It would be closer to like when playoffs are actually hitting for ice hockey, pro ice hockey.
Oh, like
they might be doing so in that time frame. But I'm just not sure of the dates and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I actually am down there quite a bit. I have a Disney pass. Let me know if you're there. Oh, hell yeah, CJ. You got the wait. You know what I need, CJ? More than anything, I need that fast pass. I need the lightning lane. Give me that lightning lane, buddy. Hook it up. Yeah, I'm working my contacts. What? Hater?
Whatever.
So, stop doing that. So, I don't know if there's anything else. Well, I mean, what else? There's more than just CJ talking in there. Is there anything else that people were
they're just making fun of you. I didn't want to bring it up.
Really? No. That's rude. Guys, hurts my feelings. Not really. Okay, well, if
Malachi Shark, who do y'all think Greer's is taking the draft? I don't like to speculate because I don't know. I don't even know where they're going to draft at. And there's a lot of people. It's funny. So many people are like, he's got to take this guy. No, he's got to take this guy. No, he's got to take that guy. And then they're all going to be disappointed when he doesn't take that guy.
If you don't take him, it's a wasted draft.
Right.
He doesn't know what he's doing, right?
Right.
I think, personally, and I will speculate a little bit here, Schaefer, the defenseman, The only reason I'm saying that is because I think the Sharks need a defenseman, period.
Is he going to be the first overall consensus
I really don't know. But you know what? If he's not the first overall consensus and there's somebody else there, you can always bump down one and get an extra pick. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever, right? But I think Schaefer, and the only reason I say that is because the Sharks would be high enough that they would have their pick of those top guys. And if Schaefer is there beyond one and they're not one, then I think they'd still be able to grab him, and they should. And here's the thing that I wanted to say was Mike Greer and what he said in the press conference beforehand. He had said that he's happy with the majority of his forwards. He thinks he's got the forward core for NHL and AHL, and he thinks that the defense needs a little bit of work. Now, I don't necessarily think that the defense is bad, but of the goaltending, the forwards, and the defense, I think the defense is probably the weakest of the three.
Absolutely.
If I were to give him grades, I would say, having Askarov is A, right? That's your A, perfect. The guys that we've got in the wings for the forward core, A, that's looking really good. The guys on the defensive side, we've got a couple names that I really like, and I can't wait to see it pans out. But there's some other guys. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So it's not like it's a D.
They have good players,
right?
just not enough of them.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like it's a D. It's a B or a B plus or whatever it is. And adding a guy like Schaefer in there is just going to bring that up to an A. And then you're going to have A's all the way down the board. And I think that's probably why I'm saying that they'll probably end up picking Schaefer. And that's me speculating on that based on what Greer just got done saying.
The guy and his dogs. I waste plenty of time watching the prospects below the AHL. We're going to be fine. You mentioned earlier he's watched a lot of OHL, WHL, all those guys, all the prospects of the Sharks, and they're really
real quick. A guy and his dogs. If you can answer this question before we cut out, I know Misa and Chernyshov are playing together. Can you tell me from what you've seen if one is helping the other more? Because I know Chernyshov's numbers are getting pretty good in terms of points per game. And obviously Misa is doing very well because he's considered one of those top four in terms of the guys coming number one out of the draft. So with the two of them playing together, is one helping the other more, in your opinion, or are they just both ridiculous? And that's just all there is to it. And it doesn't really matter who's going where. And Chernyshov's going to be with us regardless. I just want to know if Chernyshov's numbers are being influenced by a very good player, or if the very good player is being influenced by Chernyshov.
Yeah.
So if you can answer that before we get out, I would appreciate that. Thank you for your AHL watching expertise, and this obviously you guys are in the OHL, but any of those prospects you happen to be watching, I appreciate you letting us know, Aaron. Nothing else to say then? No other comments? We're good to go?
No.
Okay. Guys, again, thank you so much for being in the chat, for Nick correcting us on certain things about NHL history and empty net goals being called back and whatever else happened there. And for just the commentary and whatnot. Again, the show is so much more fun. We've got a lot of you guys in there. It seems like we got quite a few. So appreciate you guys saying it out to all your Sharks friends and family. If you'd like to support the show, numerous ways you can do that. Super chat function, Venmo, at The Fin Factor, or you can go to thefinfactor.com, check out any of the merch that we have for sale. I think Super Producer Jason is selling a camera lens or two on there, so check that out. No, maybe not. But we do have hats and hoodies and t-shirts and polos and things like that. So if you want to rock that gear, that's the place to get it. And please feel free to take a picture of that and kick it our way on either socials or through email, either which way. And we'd love to put that up on the show for you guys. And have
Get beat off walls.
Get beat off walls, apparently, is what we're going to do with it. So did he happen to comment? I was a lot of talking, trying to get him to...
Nope.
No? Wow. Too bad. Could have had your moment. Could have had your moment right there.
Yep.
I guess that's it. So... guys, appreciate you once again for...
well, I did say Chernyshov will do the exact thing he's doing next to Celebrini.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes. See?
So, yeah, he did. Sorry.
I'm pumped. And you know what? Chernyshov, again, power forward-ish type.
Yeah.
And the other one that's coming in. Musty. Power forward-ish type. And who did they put together in the prospect game?
Smith
and Musty. And I'm
they
telling
had good
you,
chemistry,
they
too.
had great chemistry. Yeah. It's going to be great. So if Will Smith can figure out how to take a face-off,
a 1-2 punch,
it's going to be nasty.
Yeah.
And on that note,
Get on with it!
for Super Producer Jason, I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
And that was God. And we will see you guys
next week.
Bye. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, check out our other content, especially interviews. You can interact with us directly through social media at The Fin Factor and on Instagram at Fin Factor. And don't forget to join our live streams on YouTube.
Visit our website at thefinfactor.com, where you'll find all of our episodes as videos or podcasts. You'll also find our exclusive merchandise to help support our show.